The story opens with women from different time periods falling for the same mysterious man, moving in and watching their lives fall apart. While the man is never seen clearly, their dark fates are obvious. The film hints that the truth will be revealed later. Then the story shifts to the present. We meet Liz, an artist, and Malcolm, her doctor boyfriend, driving to a quiet cabin for their first anniversary. Their conversations show how much they care for each other. Malcolm is gentle, thoughtful, and always looking after Liz. Before the trip, he even picked up food for their stay. After reaching the cabin, Liz video calls her friend Maggie. Maggie asks playful questions about whether Malcolm likes kids or what gift he gave Liz. From their talk, it's clear Liz is genuinely happy. Malcolm's cabin is in a very isolated spot, surrounded by thick woods. It's beautiful, but one strange thing stands out. There aren't many doors, so there's almost no privacy. Inside, Liz notices a cake on the counter. Malcolm says the caretaker probably left it as a small tradition, but the cake unsettles Liz. Malcolm hangs one of Liz's paintings and compliments her warmly. In the background, the song, "I Don't Want to Play in Your Yard" by Peggy Lee plays. The music and visuals are symbolic, hinting at hidden truths. From the window, Liz sees another cabin nearby. Malcolm explains that his cousin Darren lives there. He says Darren isn't the best person, but he's still family. Malcolm adds that Darren shouldn't bother them as his car isn't around. Within the first 10 minutes, viewers sense something unusual. Liz draws a heart on the window before taking a bath. While in the tub, she hears a humming sound from the vent, which she assumes is Malcolm. But moments later, we see something eerie. An invisible force quietly traces a heart on the window, exactly like the one Liz drew, vanishing before she turns to look. Liz and Malcolm are enjoying dinner when the doorbell suddenly rings. It's Darren, Malcolm's cousin, and he immediately changes the mood. Darren is rough, speaks without manners, and brings a model named Minka, who he claims is from Eastern Europe and cannot speak English. From Darren's tone, it's clear he treats her poorly. After a brief private talk with Malcolm, Darren steps out. Suddenly, Minka speaks to Liz, saying, "The cake tastes terrible." This shocks Liz, as Minka hadn't uttered a word before. Soon, Darren and Minka leave as abruptly as they arrived, spoiling the peaceful evening. Malcolm apologizes, reassures Liz of his love, but oddly insists they eat the cake. Though Liz has disliked chocolate cake since childhood, she takes a small, strange-tasting bite. That night, Liz has disturbing dreams and wakes up unsettled. Going downstairs, she feels a weird pull toward the cake. Despite her dislike, she begins eating it with her hands, appearing out of control as eerie visions hint that the cake is affecting her. The next morning, Minka steps out of Darren's cabin, wanting a taxi to leave. She senses she isn't alone and, while hiding behind a tree, a bizarre creature suddenly drags her away. Meanwhile, Malcolm finds Liz missing from bed. She is downstairs drawing, seemingly unaware. Her behavior begins to change. Later, during a walk by the river, Liz has a strong vision of a pregnant woman and finds an old locket in the water. Back at the cabin, Malcolm claims a patient is critical and must leave for a few hours. Liz hesitantly stays alone, feeling Malcolm prioritizes work over her. She calls Maggie, explaining the cabin's lack of privacy. It has almost no doors or blinds. After the call, Liz sees what looks like Minka's head in a trash bag through binoculars, but it vanishes. She naps and wakes with her shirt on backwards. Two versions of Minka appear, claiming, "I am inside now." Minka warns her to be quiet so she doesn't wake the children, claiming they came from the distant past and think Liz is their mother. A gunshot jolts Liz awake at the table. She assumes it was just a dream. Darren soon returns, surprised Malcolm left Liz alone. He insists on entering, and Liz eventually unlocks the door. Inside, Darren looks for Malcolm suspiciously and asks about the cake. He pours a drink and tells Liz to have one, but she refuses. He then claims Malcolm was right about her being different, making Liz uneasy. She retreats to the bathroom, realizing her phone is outside. Darren approaches the door with a weapon, but a sudden, unseen force attacks him. Liz hears the struggle but assumes he simply left. Emerging to a silent cabin, she finds Darren gone but discovers his watch in the sink. Suddenly, a woman with a bag over her head appears, draws a heart, and vanishes. Another cake appears on the counter, terrifying Liz. She tries calling Maggie, but the signal fails as a snake-necked entity looms behind her, disappearing before she can see it. Malcolm returns, looking shocked to find Liz awake. She angrily describes the bag-headed woman and Darren's visit, demanding to leave. Malcolm begs for 30 minutes to pack and brings a bottle to apologize. However, when Liz asks about his patient, he momentarily forgets the lie, then claims the patient died. Sensing his deception, Liz retreats to the bathroom. On the floor, she finds an ancient photograph of Malcolm with a woman and 2 children, the same woman from the film's opening. Liz confronts him with the photo. Malcolm initially claims it was an old marriage he hid to protect her feelings, but Liz refuses to stay. He finally reveals the truth. The presence she felt was no woman, and the cake was meant to knock her out so she could be killed. He admits he and Darren found a pregnant woman near their creek 200 years ago. When they tried to scare her off their land, Malcolm fired his gun as she ran. They captured her in their barn, only to return and find their animals slaughtered and the woman having given birth. These were no normal babies. The woman's unusual eyes suggested she wasn't human. Malcolm eventually killed her, but the newborn's supernatural entities granted him and Darren immortality in exchange for human sacrifices. All the women from the film's opening were merely food lured in by the men. Now the creatures want Liz. Malcolm coldly labels her prey and refuses to let her go, needing her death to sustain his life. As the cabin walls shake, Liz tries to escape but is cornered by 3 creatures, falling from the balcony into the water. Underwater visions and the locket confirm she is the image of the original woman. Meanwhile, Malcolm calmly packs her things into a room filled with boxes of past victims' belongings. Liz wakes in the basement before a wooden structure. A creature removes their mother's preserved head from a jar, and the bag-headed entity reveals a terrifying face made of many layers. However, they treat Liz gently as their mother. Upstairs, hearing Liz's laughter, Malcolm assumes she is dead, but he wakes up extremely weak, having aged centuries overnight. The next morning, an ancient Malcolm is found hanging upside down from a tree. Liz approaches with black eyes, calmly stating, "They asked me to stay." She feeds him the terrible cake, ignoring his final desperate claims of love. A rope pulls him upward, dropping his head into a large jar of honey to die. The film concludes by exploring themes of predatory manipulation, the curse of immortality, and the cycle of rebirth, as the creatures finally reclaim their mother and discard their former masters.